Well, hey everyone, welcome back to a little live stream here. Today I just want to get more of the ordinance finished up. Hopefully, there is a lot on this vehicle. Um, I am still waiting for a new airbrush nozzle after destroying mine for my Awada Eclipse, um, which is fine, but it's like 25 bucks for a new nozzle, which is kind of insane to me. I don't know how hard they're to make, but like it looks like you could just use a lathe and make one yourself. Um, I mean that's probably oversimplifying it, but still. I still also have to finish the landing gear. I kind of always decide to do that last minute because it's just not something I'm super fast at, and I feel like it's going to take a while. Okay, so where's my other H sprue? There it is. So for this one, we can either use H6 or H11 or H12, and I like H6 a lot better, personally. You see the difference here? Focus up. That's H12 right there. It's got like a flat cap on it. And then H6 has like a more flared out kind of look. So, let's see how that goes. Actually, before we take these off the sprue, I don't want to lose any. So I'm going to do a little cleanup on some of these parts. Yeah, do cleanup on it before we put the other two fins on, just so we don't risk damaging those. And I am going to be releasing a video pretty soon on, well, either the last video for the T14 or it'll be the first video for the Grumman. I'm thinking, I think we just finish out the T14, right? Give it a good solid send off and get on with the next project. T14 is basically done. We can actually finish up some of the filming stuff today for that and call that one good. I was thinking about adding some stowage and stuff, but I just don't have a ton of stowage. I didn't buy any stowage for the set. And so I'd have to 3D print it. And I just don't. I looked around quite a bit for stuff and I just couldn't find a lot of good like rucksacks or anything like that. And I feel like tarps and crates and stuff just aren't going to be as present on a video or on a modern vehicle like that. So I think we'll keep it out of there for now. If we want to come back to it, we always can as well. That's always a possibility. All right, let's move this out of the way so we don't damage it. And no, I don't have the landing gear on. I just put them on for the thumbnail. You know, make it look a little bit more nice. There's a little bit of a gap in the back of the GBUs here. So I think maybe just put a little thin super glue and try to fill that. Or actually, let's do gel super glue and just pack it in there. All right. We'll let those set up. And as we're doing that, I'm going to actually put those away, throw this away, and start sanding bombs because we've got a lot of them to sand. Now they do go together quite well. I just don't want any seam lines to be visible because I feel like that would probably be a little unsightly on the final product here. Since I'm pretty sure bombs don't have seam lines. Hey, I'm over from the United States, West Coast area. So it's like 11 here, 11 a.m. Totally was just not sanding the correct spot at all. Oh, really? Huh. What kind of accent would that be? Because I feel like I have a pretty American accent. Maybe not. American sounding accent, at least. I do like these sanding sponges because they make it so that you don't lose the curve of the bomb while you're sanding it, which is very nice. I think once we start getting into weathering on this build, it's going to be a lot more interesting to watch in terms of live stream. It'll at the very least be a lot more visually interesting than just me sanding parts endlessly. But hey, I mean, if you're at your own modeling bench today, got nothing else going on, guess this could be something to do. Still trying to figure out how to get music onto the live stream. To be fair, I put about 10 minutes of research into it, so. It's also part of my problem is the live stream really isn't the main goal of the channel anyways. Much rather just put videos out because I feel like you guys prefer those anyways. All the information from 10 plus hours of work put into 10 minutes. Nice and easy to follow and rewind and all that. been using these little Tamiya 0.1 millimeter photo etch saws, and they are so useful because when I'm done sanding or something like that, I can go in and just rescribe all the panel lines super easy. And they come in a bunch of different shapes and sizes, and so you get basically everything you need from them for whatever cutting application you have. And especially on aircraft models, when the lines need to be, continuous, it makes for a really great panel line scriber. It's also super precise saw. I was able to remove panels without damaging the panel lines or the panel itself, and then reinstalling those panels after I was done working, and it worked absolutely fantastically. So if you guys are looking for a good panel line scriber, I would definitely suggest getting one of these Tamiya saws. All right, I'm gonna hop off real quick. I'm gonna be right back. I have returned. Being able to make the panel lines actually wrap all the way around, I think, is one of the best ways to fool your brain into thinking that there isn't a seam line right there. Because your brain says, oh, there's a line going all the way through it. And so it doesn't think about the seam line that's like in the middle of the tank. And I don't think for these small ones I'm going to worry too much about rescribing, because they're going to be almost a side piece on this thing. They're going to be loaded up like this on this like big 6 rack down below here. And I think that's just, it's going to pretty much hide everything we don't want to be visible on them pretty well. I mean, look how many of them are going to be on there. It's going to be 6 of those little bombs in the middle, which I think is kind of cool. Oh, Jonathan, I wish that that thing was still possible, but unfortunately, um, when I moved to college, I left it at home, and I'm not going to say who, but there was some cleanup work going on around my old bench, and like an idiot, I left it out on the bench, and it got destroyed. um, so that project would take a lot, like a lot of work to get back up and running, and so I'm not sure if I'm really too interested in doing that right now. It feels like it's gonna take forever. Um, I honestly, that's one of my favorite projects I've ever started, and so, oh, someday, eventually, I think I will come back to it. Um, Start from scratch probably, and rebuild it because it was really cool model. Like there was a lot of little tiny details that you know feel like they would be missed almost. And the dragon kit definitely didn't include them, but the Flyhawk kit that I got with it had all the parts, and like as frustrating as they could be, the little what would they be called, like the turrets, the anti-aircraft turrets, um the main guns were really cool because they had tiny little barrels that came with the kit, but they were like metal barrels, and so it looked really cool. I love how a ship with a ton of photo edge looks. It's just very impressive kind of thing. So I hope eventually we can do a ship on the channel. Ships are just a very neat subject. To be honest, they're one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube is like a ship build because they're so intricate and complex. Um, to the detriment of the sanity of the guys building them, but 1/700 seems pretty manageable because it's only, for that Z39, it was only about 5 inches to 7 inches long, right in that area. And that made it totally doable. If I was doing like a 1/350 scale ship or something like that, I think I'd actually lose my mind because it's so big. But I think 1/700th definitely has the chance to come back. I've been enjoying planes a lot recently, as you can tell. Um, just because 1/72nd scale planes are relatively small. Like this one's pretty tiny here. Um, which means you can knock them out pretty quick, but still have a lot of detail on them. Like I've got a Edward Spitfire that is definitely going to show its face on the channel soon. That I think I could probably knock out in a weekend. And I think I might do that. I might do another live stream for an all-nighter build and just try to knock it out real fast. I think it could be fun. And to be honest, I might do it like as a thing with you guys. So, you know, potentially hop in a Discord call or something like that and get a couple of you guys on to talk, and we can do the Blitz build as a big group, which I think would be super fun. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm part of Panzermeister's modeling group right now, and that's been super cool. Um, a lot of really neat guys on there. But I think having a group where I can coordinate events and stuff like that for this channel would be very nice. Even though I know that Evan doesn't mind when I put events on his channel, it just makes it easier. Oh, you are? What's your what's your Discord name? Or are you not super active? Guess Evan's sending spies over now. Make sure I'm not bad mouthing him on the live stream. Oh, JPA, how's it going, dude? Yeah, no, I totally recognize you though. Just had to remind me of your Discord name. Let's see here. Okay, let's finish up the GBUs for now, and then maybe get some paint on them. That'd be fun. Well, what time is it? 11 o'clock. Let's just finish them up, and then I'm gonna hop off for now because I've got a haircut. My haircut is getting way too unmanageable. Phew, thank goodness. This is probably got to be one of the most boring things to watch on stream when I'm just cleaning these fins because they're so stinking small. I definitely need to go buy some super glue accelerator when we're done here. I keep forgetting to get it, and it's such a useful tool when you're doing these really intricate pieces. I will say, Trumpeter nailed these GBUs. They are so fine. Yeah, I have some debonder. Um, I got the VMS stuff on recommendation from our favorite uncle, and I don't love it. I'm not gonna lie. The VMS debonder is not my favorite. Is not my favorite. So I tend to just use gel super glue because I find it a lot more precise and easy to control. And I'll just put that in there and uh, like in as small a spot as possible. And I find that that keeps it pretty dang clean. And if I need to clean it, I'll use just the edge of a X-Acto blade and scrape off any excess. Crap, I totally broke the fin on this one. So I'm gonna have to be super, super careful with that until it sets. Just want to make sure they're more or less square here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Not bad. They're so small. Goodness sakes. That's one down. I'm still trying to like get used to the latency when live streaming because the bummer is that I'll see your guys' messages probably 30 seconds before you guys hear a response because YouTube takes like actually 30 seconds to encode my video signal and then live stream to you guys. It's even worse in 4K. I think I'm only doing it in 2K right now. Um, I might go all the way down to 1080 because that seemed like the lowest latency, but Satellite City Super Solvent Debonder. Could you post that in the Discord by any chance, Jonathan? I may have to pick some up. Well, Night Shift, he uses VMS now. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe he got sick of it and he just put it in the bottle. Just kidding. For legal reasons. Just kidding. That was a joke. Thanks. Appreciate it. Where did I put my phone is the real question. Make sure nobody died or something. Oh, there it is. Underneath the instruction manual. Message received, man. Thank you. I'll pick some up actually pretty fast here. If anyone was interested on what's going on in the Discord right now, they're arguing over how to pronounce pasta, and we have an Italian in the group chat right now, and it's chaos, absolute chaos. Thanks for tuning in, Jonathan. See you later. Nice. Okay. That's the guided bombs done, and then we've got these guys. The seam line's still there. Let's see if I can really knock it down pretty hard with just a sanding stick. I'm not too worried about the seam on the bottom, but I guess we'll hit it as well. And I'm praying that'll be enough to just get rid of it. It's very faint now. I think it's probably, if anything, it'll show up as a phantom seam line, and that'll be really hard to see on a white background, but you never know. Oh, and we're not even using this one. This is the ventral fuel tank. It's got like 2 fins instead of 1 is the whole difference. But yeah, we're not going to use that because all the little bombs are going to go there instead. But yeah, like I said before, these little razor saws, like, cannot beat them on price, versatility. The only thing I think I wish that they had is I wish they were a little bit thicker so that they were a little bit more robust. They're really easy to bend. And so if you're not careful with how you start your cuts or how much friction you're putting on it, it's really easy to lose the blade. Um, but I'd say that's kind of a minor issue. If you're careful, it's not an issue. So yeah, let's see here. So we're gonna put these here if they'll stay. Let's just dry fit the heck out of this thing because I don't want to mess it up. Those will go there, and then guided bombs go here. You know, I was trying to find a good like resin set for glide bombs because I honestly find those pretty cool. The ones that like open up and fold out, have the little parachute on them, but they're really hard to find good examples of in resin for some reason. Edward had a set for a while, so did Res Kit. They both discontinued them. Okay, yeah, I'm really happy with how that looks. I think that'll be really cool. Um, just as you can see, you got the two guided bombs there, and then fuel, and all the dumb bombs in the middle. I don't know how realistic this kind of setup would be, but I like it, so it's staying. Um, but yeah, guys, it is 11:16, and I've got to be downtown by noon. Let's take a look at the marking guides for these things. So for the side fuel tanks, it has the Panther on the side. I don't know what that's supposed to be for. Let's see here. Yeah, the Black Panthers. Um, I mean, that seems pretty obvious that that would be for these guys. Um, and then we have this version here, which doesn't use that, which is a little weird to me. All the other, like, everything else is the same from what it looks like. Just not the fuel tanks. I'm wondering. I mean, the other one's got a white nose. And it's either a Navy or a Marines one. And I think we're gonna do the Navy one because I really like the like tan nose that it has. The radome is painted white for the Marines, but it's like the original tan color for the Navy, which I really like. So I think I'm gonna stick with that. As you can see, last night we were doing a lot of sanding up here, but that seam line is completely gone now, which thank goodness, it was such a pain. There are a couple little ones. Like let's talk about my mistakes with this kit because that'll be interesting. Intake manifold right here. There is a phantom line that's pretty hard to see, but I can see it. Um, these ladders did not fit great, and so they've got gaps up there. Um, on the leading edge, there's a gap. I'm hoping paint will just kind of deal with that. Not a ton of other issues going back. Pretty happy with how everything else looks. On the bottom, there's a bunch of little things, but they're not super visible because it's the bottom, so I'm not too worried about it. Like there's a sink, that panel line's kind of sunk in, which I'm not super happy about. It feels like every time I use a filler, it sinks into the panel line and doesn't really work. But I think that's more my skill, not the filler. That's all right. That's not a big deal. I'm definitely looking forward to these GBUs. I don't know how easy they're going to be to paint. They seem like they've got pretty complex colors on them based off of this. Let's see if, yeah, I mean, you guys can see it kind of. It's got like decals and there's multiple colors in here, and then it's tan on the nose, and then the back is green, and oh, wait, is that not, I don't think that's tan. That's gold. Interesting. Do I have gold? I have transparent yellow and I have silver. That might work. Let's flip a picture of these GBU 8s. See if oh dang, yeah. Look at that. Well, I mean, the nice thing is that they look super weathered. Which means it'll be fun to weather those up. I think potentially we'll just do a video on ordnance building from a complete noob's perspective, I guess. Just feels like, I mean, yeah, that'll look super cool with all the weathering on it. I'm actually really excited that it's got gold because that'll add, I think, a really interesting splash of color in there. Because everything else is going to be either white, maybe a little bit of yellow. I know I had like a titanium gold color for some other project. Yes. I think this might be perfect. And a lot of these, they're just going to have to be brush painted. A lot of the details, but this is like a white gold almost, so it's very light yellow. Yeah, just like that. I think that's going to be perfect. Absolutely perfect. And then I don't have any yellow. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to take this clear yellow, and how much do I have left? I need to just buy yellow. It's something I need to do eventually here. But for now, this is what I've got. Yeah, I got a bit. But all you have to do is mix that with white, and it's perfect. It makes a perfect like yellow color. So we got yellow handled, white. I've got a ton of white paint. I mean, it kind of just accumulates. Um, got plenty of olive green or OD green, olive drab, which will be great for tan. Sorry, this is kind of just my thought process when I'm building this kind of thing. Do I have everything I need? I think buff should be good. Um, or I think I have, yeah. I also have deck tan, so we could use deck tan. I think it might be too light though. And then painting the aircraft itself, I've got some really interesting ideas on how to add some variation to this vehicle, because I mean it's literally just white on the bottom and then gray on the top. And so I think what we're going to do is some color modulation with blues and browns and stuff like that to prevent the bottom from getting super weirdly colored. I think I'll do pre-shading on this one. I think we'll try pre-shading for this, but we'll have to see. Right now, we've got aircraft, 2 guided bombs, 2 fuel tanks, and 6 little Mark 81 dumb bombs. That should make for, hopefully, a pretty nice little loadout. But that is all I've got time for today. I gotta head downtown and get my hair cut. Actually, gotta get them all cut. But we'll see you next time.